We are live. Can someone double check for me? We are live.
We are indeed.
Yay! Welcome, everyone, anyone who happens to be here. This is our November Stitch and Bitch live stream. Where has the year gone? We are here on my channel, The Fancy Hat Lady Reads, and wow, I am feeling wildly unprepared because I just woke up an hour ago from like very wild dreams. But I am going to go around and ask everyone to introduce yourself and say if you're crafting something. Rhea, how about you go first?
Yes, hello. Hi, I'm Rhea. My channel is The Bookfinch, where I do my portion of the Stitch and Bitch hosting duties. And I mostly read fantasy with a sprinkling of science fiction and depressing nonfiction, especially political topics, and also embarrassingly bad webtoons from time to time, and lots of comics. And today, I am actually going to use this opportunity to clean out all of my makeup brushes because I ran out yesterday of all of the clean ones. So I thought that, well, might as well. This is the kind of brainless activity that I am able to do. And it's a nice boost of dopamine because it's an actual task that I get to finish during the 2 hours.
Yep.
Dai, do you want to go next?
Yeah, so I'm not crafting right this second because Leia will attack my yarn. But my name's Santa. My channel's Bookish Dye. I've not really been doing a whole lot with it. And Luke just left me. And
How
Leia's
dare
leaving
he?
me too.
Oh, you're talking now. They know they're on camera.
I mean, they don't mind being on camera. I had to do a Zoom presentation
See,
on
like,
Friday,
they have.
and Luke made sure to crash it and be very cute.
They have not even met Hermes, and Hermes is having a bad influence on them.
No, I think it's just that I moved, and they're like, "Okay, we're done."
You betrayed their.
I betrayed the covenant.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah, I'm still working on the shawl.
Rachel?
I'm Rachel. My channel is Colonati, where I don't post anymore, but I do host these live shows. I read mainly science fiction, fantasy, and some nonfiction and comics and such. And I'm in between projects, strangely enough. So I might do some spinning, or I might just do pixel art in Excel because I'm obsessed with figuring out a weaving draft. So
Getting all techie and stuff.
if I seem like I'm zoned out, it's because I'm trying to figure out if you press this treadle and these harnesses go up, then the weft is over these warp yarns, and that means this block should be green.
You know, pixel art in Excel reminds me of that one artist whose name escapes me, who did like very intricate, realistic portraits of like in just coloring different like squares in Excel.
Mm-hmm.
And making the columns and like squares a different size depending.
Yeah.
And I'm always in awe of those kinds of people who can do that, because I'm like, I can't, like, I admire the skill. I could not be bothered.
Yeah, I'm not artistic in Excel, but I can use formulas. So
Same as with people doing that stuff in MS Paint, like the old school MS Paint.
I used to do that.
I loved tinkering with MS Paint.
Yeah.
And in theory, I should be getting back to sewing my skirt project. We'll see if that actually, it probably won't, because I am not good at multitasking. But I have it
that
here.
That is okay.
I have it here in case there's enough of you three get on a ramble about something and I need to start sewing. I have it here in case.
If it's any consolation, I do have a webtoon update of a new webtoon, so there
that
may
should
be
good.
so there may be a rant.
And we will be talking about Frankenstein. So.
Yes,
Right, which I have not seen.
I have not. Seen
which you should see because
I do want to
it
see
is
it,
good.
especially since apparently Guillermo like made it very almost like Mexican telenovela-esque, and I love that for him.
I have so many thoughts, which we'll save for the media portion, but I have so many thoughts on Frankenstein.
But do we want to start off with books, or do we want to just start off with Frankenstein?
Let's start with books. Let's do our normal.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Rhea,
can get
why
my
don't you get us
webtoon
kicked
out of
off
the way.
with books.
Sorry?
I can go first.
Do you want to? I'm just going. Well, I'm not sure I'm going in an order that makes sense, but you're on the top right, so I'm starting with you.
Which one?
You.
Right. You're on
Me?
the top right. Yes.
Okay, in that case, before I dive into my deep semi-rant about the webtoon in question, I'll just highlight the 2 books that I have been reading. I've had a little bit of a difficult time this fall with reading because I have like 1, 2, 3, like several, like a dozen or so books that I have started, and I get to the 40, 70 page mark, and then I start another book because like the act of finishing is currently not like happening, so I'm instead edging my reading. But like I'm still reading Queen Demon. I'm making progress, and the tension between Bashasa and Kai is driving me nuts because like Martha Wells deliberately will make a point of always mentioning how they touch shoulders or they like squeeze past each other in a certain way, and I'm like, bless you.
Kai is in such denial. He's like, I won't even think about
I'm just protective of this man and I want him to succeed, but also I will notice how the entire feel of the room changes when he enters, and I'm like, sure, you do.
Also, he wears Bashasa's coat, like that jacket.
He's
like, oh, it's mine now.
He also has a habit of noting how other people are around Bashasa and not being at all jealous.
No,
he will just have this kind of passive-aggressive momentum of certain prince heirs or certain members of the cadre, like just being too close to him, and I'm like, sir, you need to talk to someone about these repressed feelings.
No, he's just is completely passive until he gets a chance to go off and storm an entire castle and kill a bunch of people.
Exactly, which he also does because he wants to impress this man. Like, Guy is so like this kind of subtle pining, but it's not even subtle. He just can't seem to address that is the feeling. He's just like, I have full admiration for this man. Yes.
Like, just get a room. Actually, they do get a tent. And
yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, Queen Demon is going well, and because I can't ever be happy, I am also reading Omar El Akkad's One Day Everyone Will Have Always Been Against This, with the actual byline of the book, one day when it's safe, when there's no personal downside to calling a thing what it is, when it's too late to hold anyone accountable, everyone will have always been against this, which is essentially a half memoir, an essay, a treatise on the way Western politicians and media have essentially manufactured consent for the Israeli genocide of the Palestinians, and how there's this double standard of how Israel is treated by the global north and other countries, as opposed to, let's say, countries like Russia, or in relation to the war on Ukraine, or South African apartheid during the 80s and 90s. So really harrowing stuff to read, but at the same time, this kind of nonfiction sometimes serves for me as a kind of sanity check, so that I feel like I'm not going insane when I feel like I am seeing a thing for what is happening, and then people and media around me are like, no, that's not how it goes. So it's sometimes very beneficial to my own sanity to read this.
That's on my list of books to get to before the end of the year, and just the way that you're describing it makes it sound like a counterpart to Except for Palestine, which it's Mark Lamont Hill, and I can't remember who the co-author is, but it's basically about kind of like the liberal exceptions for Israel. I'm trying to pull it up, but it's basically somewhat similar. It's Except for Palestine, The Limits of Progressive Politics by Mark Lamont Hill and Mitchell Plitnick.
Yeah. And I think this is... Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, and it was published in 2021, so a couple of years before the current genocide started. But yeah.
So this one addresses specifically the last 2 years. It will also touch down because Omar el-Kard's own family is like refugees, like his ancestry is like going to Palestine. But this also, like, so this was published just this year, and this also goes hand in hand with the other book that I read earlier this year, which was The Perfect Victims. So both of these are like really, like, I think really important to read if you want to get like a very humanized perspective of what is happening there. And also if you feel like you need to not feel insane for a bit, because the world is going to hell on a handbasket apparently, and we seem to be losing all of the semblance of any morals backbone.
Hey, we had an election in my city that actually went
that
pretty
is
well.
True. Here's the thing. I know we don't usually talk politics, but I do have to mention that as a Finnish person with absolutely zero ties to New York, I was way too invested in your election. And I
do not have zero ties to New York. You have a friend who lives here.
I mean, that is true. But I'm saying that I personally cannot vote in those elections. So in that sense, zero connection. But yes, I do have a tangible connection via you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those are the books I've been reading, and then there's this webtoon. So
I love our webtoon update portion.
Yes. So I have read this webtoon before. It is called The Redemption of Earl of Nottingham. And it is essentially a kind of time travel story. So essentially it tells the story of this woman called Madeline, who is kind of like from an embarrassed noble family who basically lost everything, went through poverty and stuff. And the story starts when she is, and it is also set between World Wars I and II. So it is historical fiction about England and also later the United States, written by a Korean author. So it is a Korean author's understanding of that time period of England and the United States through a very romanticized lens, but also, bless them, they do try to address, for example, the racial segregation of Romanis and Irish people. So they clearly have done historical research somewhere. but also there are several implications. So the story essentially, the way it starts is that Madeline has gotten married before the war to this man to basically save his family, save her family. Sorry, because they are impoverished nobles, so to save her family from financial ruin. And this man goes to war and comes back a complete emotional wreck because of PTSD and cell shock, and proceeds to be an abusive prick, which then leads to her getting killed by her husband inadvertently in a fit of passionate rage. He kills her, or causes her death, I should say. And then she wakes up in the past before she has met this man. And it basically goes through there that she is reliving her past and trying to not succumb to her fate, while at the same time also meeting this man again, and then he is the romantic love interest. Yes. So this has been exceedingly interesting to read, where I'm like, Miss, this man killed you, or like he caused your I know that he hasn't done this yet, but like, surely there are other rich people you could potentially marry who don't have this baggage associated with them.
Oh, good God.
And the thing is that like the way things happen in the new past and or the new present for her are different than so she is actively able to change stuff around, so things don't go exactly as they went before, so it's not as problematic. But like but the man is still like very obsessive of her, and I'm like,
Oh, that's never a good sign.
yeah, it's like this man is like still kind of like, sure, he has not been abusive in that same way that he was in the preliminary timeline, which led to the reincarnation, essentially reincarnation in the past. But he's like exhibiting similar controlling behaviors, but now they are like presented as like romantic. He just cares for her.
She should just kill him.
I mean,
Which cat is this? I can't tell because
This
of the
is
light.
Leia.
Leia.
Yeah, my lighting is really bad right now.
But
Luke
also,
Luke is on my lap. He's right here.
I can see Luke's ears.
No.
But essentially, before I trust that none of you are going to read this, so
No.
I will be less strict about spoilers when it comes to these webtoon wrap-ups. So
The
I will
only
just
time
say,
we need to be worrying about spoilers is if you're telling us that it's actually good and we
Yeah.
should read it.
yes, which is why I have tried not to spoil like the pizza delivery man in the Golden Palace, because that one has actually been good. But in this case, she goes to prison at one point because she helps a socialist rebel who is also mixed race Romani. So she she helps because the Earl's sister is a communist, and is siding with the people trying to bring down the British government. Yeah. So she goes to prison for harboring this man, and this starts the events of this, like the Earl being quite pissed about it. And when she gets out of prison, she moves to the United States, where she becomes embroiled with like this Irish family who takes her in and offers her a job. She's English, by the way, also. No tensions there. They just gloss over the kind of tensions between Ireland and England at this time. But sure, these good-willed Irish people just take her in out of the kindness of their heart, this poor English woman traveling alone to the United States. and then she gets a secondary love interest who is Italian, who is an Italian man, and who is also, by the way, much more interesting as a character and has like a backbone and seems like an actually healthy character. And then the Earl makes a business trip to the United States and they are reunited and stuff, and that's basically where it is currently ending the second season. Is that the Earl is trying to win her back. Yeah. It's not good.
Wow.
It's not good. Oh, and then there's the other webtoon, which also just had an end of season. The one where the guy who is like a baron does not want to get married to this kind of psychotic person from another well-established family. So he hires a person from like the slums to pretend to be his sister, so that he can pass this hired person, like a Dickensian orphan, to the brother of the person he's supposed to marry and marry them off, so that he doesn't have to, and then he proceeds to fall in love with his hired sister, because that's never ended badly for anyone, introducing someone that, hey, this is my sister. Hello, all of society, this is my sister, totally my legit sister, who I also have the heart for, and that is completely not weird. That I'm just publicly lusting after this person that everyone assumes is my sister. So that webtoon is also going in interesting directions, where they're actually now having like he's having like a jealous competition with the man he hired this woman to marry, because he does not want her to marry him after all, but he also can't he can't risk the public humiliation of actually admitting that, oh, by the way, I hired this person and she's not actually my sister. It's like, are you like, which is it? Are you gonna like admit that you did a dum-dum, or are you gonna lean into the incesty thing that's like, yes, this is my sister, and like it's just a thing that is gonna happen? Like, who writes this stuff? I can't.
I hope it's a real person and not just AI at this point.
Oh, I do think like I feel like this is exactly the level of dumbness that I expect from real people. It feels so genuine that I just don't think a robot can replicate this. At the, like or like not at the level where it elicits this level of frustration. I don't think.
Yeah, like it would just be nonsense if AI wrote
Yeah,
it. Like, the
if
way it currently
AI
is, it's like, oh no, we understand this nonsense and why
Yeah.
it's a bad idea.
Yeah, like it's like at least these are trying to comment on something. They're not doing it very well, but they're like actively. They are like bless the person who is writing the redemption of Earl of Nottingham, because they actually seem to have read up on history, and they're trying to like, yeah, I'm gonna address some of this stuff, like how Britain was really racist, like, or England was very racist, and I'm like, yeah, but you're doing it in a very weird way. But bless you. Yeah, that's me. That's it. Those are the things I have been reading.
Rachel, have you been reading?
I have read just a tiny little bit. I feel like we were just here talking about what we read like yesterday. I have not finished anything, though I'm kind of like Rhea. I've started things. I've got like 6 books going on, and I'm struggling to finish any of them. But happy news, I am finally halfway through Fullmetal Alchemist. I finished volume 15 this morning, and
Excellent! I'm so happy.
there are 27 volumes in the
Yeah.
series, so
Yes.
I'm past the halfway point, and volume 15 is where we get the flashbacks to what really happened in the Ishbalan War,
Mm.
which it gives me a bit of whiplash sometimes when this goes from being like the absolute tragedy of being involved in a genocide and then funny, humorous, chibi character scenes. Like I had to skip the little cartoons at the end of the volume because they just seemed so tonally wrong for what I had just read about, you know, the mass murder of an entire country.
Here's the thing. In the editions that are hardcover, they have actually removed the chibi
interesting.
illustrations and they publish them as a separate book that
I would
contains
like that
contains only the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never really gotten the appeal of a lot of those like little asides and columns and stuff from the manga artist and a lot of things. Like I remember Fruits Basket always had like one per volume. I've never really read them.
It's basically a kind of remnant. I think it's less prevalent in nowadays during serialization. But it is like sometimes it happens, but for a lot of these, it's like first of all, mangakas are contractually obligated to like for a certain set of pages per month usually, or a certain set of pages per volume, which usually means you get extra content in certain volumes. It really depends on like the contracts that they're under. But it used to be a thing where, especially in monthly and weekly serialization, they would kind of pad out the page length to meet the
that makes sense.
quota.
And a lot of them are very much like addressing that moment in time. It's like this is commentary on stuff that was happening when this was being serialized, but I'm reading it 2 years later in translation in a bind up, and it's strange. So, and I mean, I think the stuff, anything in this is like 15 years old.
yeah. But I will also say that like like for those who are maybe interested in picking up Fullmetal Alchemist, like if you read them in the hardcover editions, the like comic relief illustrations are a separate book. I still recommend reading those because they are actually really interesting insight into the creative process sometimes and the humor of Hiromu Arakawa. But I do agree that it's like, here's all of the war crimes that are being committed by these people, and here is like Scar and Fura Bradley having like a word salad match with each other.
Yeah. So anyway, it has definitely gotten to the serious, difficult bit in this. I haven't gotten to the bit that explains the Elric brothers' father and his relation to the homunculi yet. Nobody spoil it for me, but I have a feeling I might know where this is going.
Me and Dai are just like,
it's not going to be happy, I'm sure. That guy is a dick, no matter whether it's the father of the homunculi or the Elric brothers' daddy. So yeah, I have the next 3 volumes, and then I'll be getting the rest of the series from the library when I go pick up my holds. So I don't know, maybe I'll finish it by the end of the year.
Oh, I hope
think
so.
I do hope so. I am expecting a full report of your thoughts on Fullmetal Alchemist
I
because
take it
it is one of my
really-
favorites.
I'm getting to the really good bits, aren't I?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Like that is honestly a series that just like keeps getting better as it goes on. And I think it's also like a series that has an immense amount of reread value after you have finished the entire thing and you're like, wait a second, I need to go back to the beginning and see how this was foreshadowed.
Yeah, I also think Arakawa does a really good job of like not shying away from the fact that like we love, you know, Roy and Riza, but they helped commit a genocide and like really grapple and like has the story grapple with their guilt and complicity and how they're trying to make sure something like that doesn't happen again and be able to be in a position of, we did a war crime, we deserve to be tried for a war crime.
Or like even the fan favorite Armstrong is like he's like presented as a goofy guy and stuff, but like he is actually a very interesting character in terms of like just because he's essentially the only. Well, actually, I'm not sure if you're in that part, but we're in the Ishwalan genocide part. But like Armstrong is one of the characters who he's also in a way complicit, but he's one of the only characters who actively voiced protest during the time of the actual genocide. Like the reason why he is a major and he has never managed to get to the upper military ranks despite being a nepo baby and despite having like this huge rich family backing him up is because of he went against the establishment.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been reading that. I read another book. So last time I talked about the like Jane Austen inspired murder mystery series where all of the characters and their kids kind of show up in the series by Claudia Gray. And the main characters of the series are Jonathan Darcy, who is Darcy and Elizabeth's son, their eldest son.
They have several.
Extremely autistic. And then Catherine Morland's
from Northanger Abbey.
What?
From Northanger Abbey?
Yeah. Catherine's daughter, Julia. They are teenagers that are slowly realizing that not only do they enjoy teaming up to investigate crime, they might also maybe want to court each other.
Whoa.
I need to check out these books because these remind me a lot of mysteries that I really enjoyed when I was younger.
Are these like for a young adult audience? For if they're like teenagers, are these for like adults or like is it like more of a young adult?
It's adult mystery, yeah. I think Julia is like 17 or 18 and Jonathan is a little bit older. So yeah, and a lot of the conflict for them in their investigations is that they are two young unmarried people in a society in a level of society
where it's very sex segregated.
Where and it's like if they so much as look at each other directly, people assume that they want to get married, and are they suitable for each other? So they do a lot of sneaking around, trying not to get caught because oh my god. You're hanging out in the library in your nightgown with this guy.
Oh my god, scandalous.
Cannot believe
Also, you're discussing dead bodies and poison, like so unladylike. Anyway, there are tons of cameos of all the characters from the Jane Austen novels, and then things about some of their children, and then sometimes like the ex-lovers and their spouses show up as well. So the one I just finished reading is the late Mrs. Willoughby. And the title character is the woman who ended up marrying Willoughby from Sense and Sensibility, who was the guy who Marianne didn't end up with. She ended up with Brandon instead. The Colonel. So
who Alan Rickman made exceedingly hotter than was strictly allowed in the Sense and Sensibility
I
movie.
agree with you on that, yes. Also, apparently his first name is never mentioned in the book. So the author, I think, said that she decided to go with Christopher because it's the first name of the character in the movie. So, yeah. But yeah, in this one, everyone is still traumatized from the murder of Mr. Wickham in the first one with the house party gone very, very wrong, only to return home and Marianne is suffering from PTSD, and then her ex-flame Willoughby shows up, and even though he has married a rich heiress, he hates his wife, she hates him, and he really wants to talk to Marianne, and she's like, bro, don't talk to me. And then Mrs. Willoughby dies. And Marianne is suspected of it again.
I would think that Mr. Willoughby should be the one suspected, considering he didn't get along with his wife and was pining for the ex-flame.
Well, his dead wife's other ex-flame is also at his party. And everyone really thinks that because Marianne might have murdered somebody before, she probably is the only person who would try to murder again in this small village, right?
Peculiar.
Anyway, it was good fun. And I enjoyed the moment when Jonathan Darcy realizes that even though he has never wanted to touch another person and he has never understood the concept of kissing, maybe he would actually like to be touched by Julia.
Wow.
And she's like, oh, you know, this other guy was trying to woo me, but for some reason I just wasn't into him. But whenever I see Jonathan, I just feel completely differently. So,
I love romance books because, like, in case you may not have known, I sometimes struggle very hard to understand stuff like flirting. And I love that there is, like, romance media who goes the extra length to make sure that people like me get that stuff is supposed to happen or is happening.
yeah, same. And the only other thing I've finished, addition to that, is I read Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldree, which is kind of the prequel to Legends and Lattes. And it was decent. It was okay. It's an early adventure of Viv, the orc character from the other book. And the best part of this was the skeleton dude. So there you go.
Huh.
It hit pretty much all of the same story beats and cozy feeling as the first one. It's just it's in a bookshop instead of in a coffee shop. So I devoured it very quickly because it was brain candy, but I was struck by the similarity.
Oh shit!
Like,
You know what I just realized? That series could be up for Best Hugo next year.
There is a third one coming out.
It just came out.
Oh, it just came out. Oh.
Sorry,
Does it meet the page count or word
With
count?
3 novels? I would think so.
See, I never really like have a grasp how long these novels are because I tried to read the lattes thing, and it just like I like a cozy like story the same as like most people, but I just could not get into it, so I basically gave up around like 40 pages.
It's because it very much reads like what it is, which is a NaNoWriMo novel.
Oh, that's what it was.
So
Yeah, it was a NaNoWriMo novel that he then self-published, and then it got picked up by Tor. What the hell did I do? Sorry.
I can't wait to have all of my brushes clean. Then I can finally start doing makeup that isn't beige.
So yeah, that's everything that I read.
Di, have you read things?
Yes, I have read things. So I think when we last met, I said I was reading the Vanished Birds by Simon Jimenez. I did finish it. I liked it. I didn't like it as much as Spear Cut Through Water, but that because for me is like kind of god tier fantasy, and like this was good. I enjoyed it. I thought the ending was a little abrupt and it didn't like leave me as satisfied as I wanted, but I really liked the story and the different characters. And I was on the Broken Binding sci-fi sub waitlist, and I got off in time to get their edition of The Vanished Birds. So I have
wow.
Hopefully coming in the mail for me soonish. And the other benefit of getting off the waitlist is I get earlier access to their Murderbot set. So I don't have to wake up at 4 a.m. on a Sunday to be in a knife fight on general sale.
Di, can I make a selfish request for a flip through of the of these editions? Because I want to see those.
Yeah, I will do that. So I read The Vanished Birds, and then I read Sour Cherry by Natalia Theodorodou. So this is like almost fairy. It's like, I would say it's a little like a fabulous retelling of Bluebeard. And so it's like the modern, but the retelling is like done in like kind of a fairy tale way. And it's about this man who is almost like he's cursed, and then it's like the cycle of violence and how he's able to use his money and power to get away with kind of the serial murder of the woman that he's involved with. It's not a happy book. It's very dark. I read it because my friend Rosanna had said it was one of her favorite books that she read this year, and I had read Notes from a Regicide earlier this year on her recommendation, so I decided to borrow it. And like, I don't think enjoy is the right word, because this is the type of book where it's like hard to enjoy, but I appreciated the project that it was trying to do. I don't think it's like a 5-star for me the way it is for her. I think I would rate it like a 3.7, 4-star. Like, it was just a very interesting way to go about retelling and kind of framing it in modern problems of like femicide, violence against women, about how men in power are able to get away with this violence. But again, it's not something that is like I necessarily enjoyed.
Understandable.
And then with Jane, I am trying to complete my full-on Jane Austen reread before the end of the year. So I listened to Mansfield Park because I found that Juliet Stevenson, so she's the one who is Jules's mom in Bend It Like Beckham, who's like, get your lesbian feet out of my shoes.
Okay. A small tangent on Bend It Like Beckham. I am still salty that it is not a sapphic movie.
Oh, everyone is.
I do enjoy a young Jonathan Rhys-Meyers, but
no,
it should have been a sapphic movie.
Everyone wanted Jess and Jules together. Anyway, so she narrates a lot of Jane Austen works, and so I really like her narration. So I listened to Mansfield Park. And my apologies to Jenny from reading the end, but this is still probably my least favorite Jane Austen.
So, Mansfield Park sucks.
It's one that when I finished it, I realized I think part of the reason it's people rank it so low on Jane Austen lists. Like, I know people who really love it and who really enjoy it. I am not one of them, but I think it's because it's almost like a proto Bronte novel, but in a different key. So it's in like the Jane Austen key, but there's like this bleakness to Mansfield Park that you don't get in her other novels. Like, even Persuasion, which is like, Persuasion has a happy ending, and but it starts in a bleak place. Mansfield Park starts bleak, and in my opinion ends bleak, because I don't think that Fanny and Edmund are a happy ending. It's might as well, and it's very realistic in a way that none of her other novels are.
See, Persuasion is probably my favorite.
Oh, I love Persuasion.
Jane Austen novel. Like, Persuasion followed by Pride and Prejudice, followed by Emma, followed by Sense and Sensibility. Like, that's my top 4.
I remember really liking Northanger Abbey, and that's next on my list because my audiobook hold came in. But yeah, I think that for me is why I don't particularly enjoy Mansfield Park compared to the others, is that it is almost like that proto-Bronte novel, but in the Jane Austen key, not in the Bronte key.
Yeah.
I think my plan for next year actually is to do a full-on Bronte reread, because it has been a long time since I've read the Brontes. So I read Mansfield Park, and then I finally read The Witch Roads by Kate Elliott. This is the first in the duology that came out this year, and it is set in a secondary fantasy world, and it's set in this empire, and our main character Ellen is a deputy courier. She is with her nephew Kem, and she gets pulled into some higher class shenanigans, and there's a possession, and it is a travel story, but also thinking about like empire and violence and class. And I actually think this, so far, I need to read book 2. This is a more successful version than what Robert Jackson Bennett was trying to do with his commentary on Empire in The Tainted Cup. Because the Empire, you find out, exists for like a specific reason. So like in The Tainted Cup, it's because they have these kaiju-esque thing, like creatures that do incursions, and the whole idea is like the Empire to protect. But it, for me at least, it didn't really have a very critical view of the Empire and its failings. Whereas this, the Empire is there because there's this thing called the Pall, which is like this white fog, and if you go in, it has this spore which will that like corrupt you and turn you into this almost zombie type thing.
Yeah.
And so like the Empire has like completely structured itself around the realities of the Pall and what's going on, and it doesn't take like it does have a very critical view of the Empire, but it's also like, you find out later in the book, and I think you learn more in book 2, like what happens in a different society and how they've adapted and how it's like actually worse. And so while the Empire isn't perfect, it is kind of like the best possible. So like I said, I think for me at least, it's a better version of what Robert Jackson Bennett was trying to do with The Tainted Cup. But I really like this. I really enjoyed the characters. It does dump you in pretty like into the deep end with the world building. Like there's really no hand holding, but things do get explained. And I think like Ellen being someone who is at the periphery of Empire, both in terms of location and class, does like helps with the world building because there are certain things that she needs explained. So I enjoyed this one a lot. And then the last thing I read was The Phantom Plague, How Tuberculosis Shaped History by Vidya Krishnan. So this was a book, because earlier this year I read Everything is Tuberculosis by John Green. And at the end, he had a list of books that he recommended if you wanted to learn more, because his book was pretty short. It was very much like, you've only really thought about tuberculosis in the context of like Victorian waifs, and not it being a modern public health problem. And so this is a bit more, this is like a more in-depth view, but it's specifically focusing on tuberculosis in India. And while it does talk about TB, mostly in South Africa and in Africa in general, it's mostly focused on the failures of public health within India and how the current pharmaceutical IP regime has set things up to like create drug-resistant TB, to create these outbreaks. And so I definitely think that if you're at all interested in learning more about TB and like what the current status is, it's worth checking out. I don't necessarily agree with the subtitle, How Tuberculosis Shaped History, because while it does talk a little bit about the history of TB and a little bit about like how the bacterium was discovered and how it was treated before antibiotics, it doesn't go into it as much as the subtitle might make you think. And then I am currently reading The Mirrored Heavens by Rebecca Roanhorse. I started the audiobook yesterday, but I'm not super far in.
Oh my god, you're gonna finish that book before I finish it, and I started it when it came out.
I also think, so with The Mirrored Heavens, like maybe a fourth of the way in, but it's also kind of making book 2 sit a little worse in my feelings. Because
That's
two
the
was
issue
just
I've had with it.
because book 2 is such a middle book.
Yeah, book 2 is like okay. Here's the thing. I'm going to die on this hill. Book 2 introduced one of the more interesting characters in the series, in my opinion, and then proceeded to do nothing with him.
Was this Dana Ochi?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, granted, I'm only a quarter in, but I like book 2. I feel like you could have combined like parts of book 2 and parts of book 3 and had book 2 like have more momentum.
Yeah. I mean, I still have not finished book 3. I'm like, it's been sitting on my shelf with like a bookmark in the halfway point for a while now. That while being like a year. But we shall not discuss that.
Anyway, so that's where I'm at. I have some books that I want to try and finish before the end of the year, but I don't know if it's going to happen.
I have cleaned my brushes.
Yay!
I have only finished reading 2 books since we spoke last. The first was the one that sort of inexplicably put me in a reading slump. And this was the second of the Miss Percy books by Quenby Olson. I don't want to like dunk on this series because it's, pretty decent self-published stuff. And I did enjoy the first book, and the second book is objectively similar. The second book is Miss Percy's Travel Guide to Welsh Moors and Feral Dragons. So the series is about it's Regency era fantasy about a 40-year-old spinster who inherits what turns out to be a dragon egg from her uncle, and it hatches. In a world where no one thinks dragons are real, and so this is a very big deal. And I thought this particular installment in the series was too long for what it was. I thought it needed to be either trimmed down or have more plot. The first half was really tedious for me, not because I disliked anything that was happening. It was just that nothing was happening that I couldn't have 100% predicted from the end of the first book. And it's like 400 pages long. So that's like 200 pages of nothing that is interesting to me has happened yet. And that's too long. It's written in a style that is like overly rambly, and I kind of liked that in book 1. I thought it had it because it has personality. It's sort of like it's not first person, it's third person, and it's not the voice of Miss Percy. Her, pocket guides are quoted at the beginnings of the chapters, but she's not the narrator of the books. And so it is this authorial voice providing opinions about her story. And I liked it in the first book, and it felt like way too much in the second book. And I don't know if that was a me problem or like a you need to edit this down problem. So, gosh, I can figure out how long it took me to read the first book and how long it took me to read the second book. And this is puzzling to me because objectively, like, these two books are not that different from each other. let's see. Can I show my reading history? I don't remember it. I think it took me like 2 or 3 days to read the first book, and it took me like 2 weeks to read the second book. And that might be a me problem. Then the other book I finished was very, very short, and that's The Iron Below Remembers by Sharang Biswas. His name I might be mispronouncing. I couldn't find a pronunciation online. This is a Neon Hemlock novella. It is very funny. It is, yeah.
Is it as funny or like as the transitive properties of cheese? Or is it in the same,
I
like
found
how does it square up against that in terms of like levity?
I found it funnier than Transitive Properties of Cheese. This to me has more obvious comedy. I don't know if it would be obvious to everyone else. So like this is it's a superhero story set in a contemporary alternate Britain in a world that not only has superheroes but has like a dramatically alternate history where there was an ancient South Asian empire that basically conquered a whole bunch of the world kind of instead of the Roman Empire.
Interesting.
And the protagonist is an archaeologist, and he studies the Karthik Empire.
See, okay.
I need to get to this.
I need to get to this as well because like
he's
archaeologists protagonists. Yes.
He's dating a superhero, and this is an established relationship at the beginning of the book. And because he is dating this superhero, he gets the call when the superheroes accidentally discover this like giant archaeological find to like head up the project to study it. And it is heavily footnoted. It's extremely voicey, first person narration. And like the footnotes and all the commentary are like 50% academic nerdery about this alternate history fictional empire.
Oh God, I need to read this.
And 50%
I just put it as
like
my to read.
sexy exploits with his superhero boyfriend.
I love this. This is how you sell a book to a very specific niche audience who enjoys archaeology and maybe or also superheroes.
I will say the academic humor personally worked for me a good deal more than the sexy humor. But it's very much exact. This is a book that knows exactly what it is and what it is doing and commits to that like 120%. It's ultimately very much about the romantic relationship here, more than it is about any of the plot that's happening. It's about, the things that are straining their relationship and how they work through it. But you know what I kept thinking of the whole book is like, the meme internet joke thing about like how often do you think about the Roman Empire?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is about a guy who is always thinking about the Karthik Empire.
See, here's the thing. When it comes to the whole how often do you think about the Roman Empire, the guys who think about the Roman Empire only think about usually only think about a very specific portion of the Roman Empire, which is usually the Republic era and not like all of the other parts.
The actual empire?
It drives me up the wall because the Roman Empire, like, as a whole, is like very like when people think about, like, say, Roman Empire, they think about this monolith when it is actually like a long-standing, like ages long project of like various different governing structures and like families in power, and like you would not even necessarily think about the Rome in Roman Empire is not the same Rome all of the time, all throughout. It's kind of like thinking like in terms of like when you think about Russia, that you would then conflate modern Russia with like the Russia of Ivan the Terrible, or like the Russia that was conquered by the Golden Horde. Like it's like, yes, it has a historical through line, but these are like very divorced like entities and power structure. It drives me up the wall. Anyway, I also think about the Roman Empire very often,
Oh,
and other
Samuel,
empires.
related to that, the Jane Austen inspired murder mystery sort of romance series I've been reading. I told you Jonathan Darcy is very autistic. You know what his hyperfixation is?
Is it
The
the
Roman
Roman
Empire?
Empire?
It is very specifically the book, the multi-volume book, The Rise and Fall of the Roman Empire.
Wow.
That's funny.
Love that.
Anyways, I did enjoy like piecing together some of the alternate history in this through all of like the academic notes, but it is also just like an unabashedly sexy book if you want to read that. And
Okay, is it like a good sexy or cringe sexy? Because I'm still burnt by Mary Robinette Kowal and the rocket ship references from Calculating Stars all these
it
years
might,
later.
for me, it veers. I am in one of these situations where like I am not into the things the characters in this are into, but I don't have to be to enjoy the book, because the point is sort of like building the voice of the characters.
Yeah.
And I felt like I really got the voice of the protagonist here. There will be people who will find this to be a little much.
I will have to read that.
Anyways, that is all I finished reading.
Yay! That is the book stuff. We are on time. Finally, like we've been really on time today.
We are right on time. I am just going to say, before I let everyone talk about Frankenstein who's watched it, because I haven't, my only media that I have is I finally watched K-pop Demon Hunters, which I thought was actually very, very fun.
It is fun. I have watched it now 3 times.
I think I need to watch it again because it is such like breakneck paced storytelling. Like you get it covers a lot of ground really, really quickly. And I want to go back and actually pay attention to some of the details instead of just like
there's also a lot that they cut out in terms of like how much they had storyboards and like plans for the story. So there's a lot that I'm not holding my breath on this, but I do hope that there has been enough interest in K-pop Demon Hunters that the production company will release an art book going into the details of how it was made. Because as an avid fan of collecting various art books and coffee table books on animated movies in specific, I would be very much the target audience for this kind of project. Because right now I have had to glean all of this from interviews and people's Instagram posts of all the things that they had plans for it for.
And then the only other media I have besides K-pop Demon Hunters is more figure skating drama. Of course, there's figure skating drama every weekend this time of year. I am missing the ice dance right now to be here with you.
That's the biggest drama, that you're missing the ice dance to be in the Stitch and Bitch.
Missing the ice dance.
Or are you missing good parts of the ice dance, or are you missing the rhythm, the 90s rhythm?
I am missing the free dance. I will have to catch up later. This is at Skate America. The only real drama in the ice dance in this competition so far from the rhythm dance is that the tech panel has been exceedingly strict, and everyone's gotten very harsh calls on some of their elements, so no one's scores are what they want them to be. But
has the drama continued about the judging panel who are also like graduates of the Canadian school?
That's just the water in which ice dance swims. There are different judges at every competition. It's a different judging panel, but everyone knows people who train at Ice Academy of Montreal.
It's like the Ice Academy of Montreal, kind of like the central like kind of a nepo situation where you have had to be in that school to be anyone.
I mean, you don't have to have, but they are at this point, they have such a reputation of being where most of the top teams train that like a lot of up and coming teams seem to just be going there by default to try to get into the top echelons. Because like with the top teams, the Italians don't train there. Gillis and Poirier from Canada don't train there.
Wait, the Canadians don't train there.
I mean, plenty of other Canadian teams train there. Canada has a lot of ice dance teams. And then I am drawing a blank trying to think of who else who's really like in contention for Olympic medals doesn't train there. But the ice dance isn't really the drama this weekend. The drama is kind of just how bad the men's event was that ended last night. It was one of those events where like everyone skated badly and we all suffered through it.
Oh dear.
Oh no. Was there a lot of falls? Or
yes.
Like did people's hands touch ice?
Yes.
Okay. Did
try
people to do a triple loop and ended up in a
there were probably
double?
more people falling in the men's event, the pairs event was kind of scarier. The pairs event is the pairs event over? Yes, the pairs event is over. We have medals. There were some scary pairs lift moments that like the lift didn't go up. And for the most part, it was like lift not going up as opposed to like lift coming down too early, which is even scarier. Pairs is the danger discipline. Ice dance is the drama discipline. Pairs is the danger discipline, which is why pairs is my least favorite of the disciplines. Last weekend, which event was it last weekend? It was NHK Trophy in Japan, I think. Whichever event it was last weekend, the French pairs team had an on-ice injury that was really just I didn't want to be watching that on live stream.
Did someone split their head?
No, she dislocated her shoulder.
Oh.
Oh.
And we had to sit there and watch while
Oh.
she tottered over to the boards and had a doctor, while she was still standing on the ice, try to push her shoulder back in.
Ooh. As someone who has had to do that, I also like.
I don't
also
want to
do not
watch
want
that on my
other-
sports stream on the fun weekend.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like bears.
Let's put it this way: a dislocation of any kind is never fun to witness or experience. It is a highly an activity that is discouraged by all parties involved.
So there's more figure skating happening today. I will say, if anyone here is watching who is thinking, oh, it's an Olympic season, I like figure skating, what do I watch, to prepare myself for the Olympics? The event that you are going to want to watch is probably the Grand Prix final. I should have gotten this information in advance, and I want to make sure that I get the dates and stuff right so you can figure out how to watch it in whatever country you're in.
While Kelsey is looking that over, I'll just answer a question from the Trail Artisan. Have you all ever seen the TV show Stargate SG-1? Yes, I
saw
have.
half of it, and then I got burned out because I've been binging it, and it's similar. Like all the episodes are similar enough where it was very easy for me to burn.
It's a very monster of the week, like very similar Y2K formula of like Buffy's and Angels and all of that kind of stuff. Also Farscape.
Also, Star Trek.
SG-1 has aged better than Farscape. Farscape did not age all that well in all of the episodes, but it has puppets.
I think I made it about 4 episodes into SG-1. At least I watched more than one season of Farscape.
SG-1,
I did watch the Stargate movie multiple times, though.
SG-1,
I love the
first
Stargate
season
movie.
Is a little rough, and it also doesn't help that one of the episodes. So, in Star Trek: The Next Generation in season 1, there is this infamously racist episode called Code of Honor. Like, it is so racist. It's basically like, even if you want to see all of Star Trek, skip this episode. Save yourself. It's infamously bad. Stargate SG-1 got the writer of Code of Honor, and he's like, it wasn't bad enough that I did a racism and a sexism in Star Trek. I'm going to try it again. So essentially in season 1 of SG-1, there is a redux of Code of Honor.
Oh no.
Oh no.
As someone who has also watched Star Trek and oh no.
Anyway,
I've completely blocked my brain out of this, and I've seen all of SG-1.
It was probably for the best, but I mean, I remember enjoying what I saw of SG-1. I liked the characters. Like, I think for a Monster of the Week type show, as long as you have good characters, it can carry a lot, and I did like the team dynamic of SG-1.
I mean, here's the thing. I do admit that I did have a little bit of a crush on Amanda Tapping as a teenager, as one does. Same as I did have a crush on. Oh my God, I need to Google her because I don't want to get her name wrong.
What character?
Claudia Black.
Okay.
Who is the actress for the main other main lead in Farscape, also had a huge crush on Claudia Black.
She's got it. She's got a thing that's just like, yeah.
Yeah, she
also
has that
voices my main
charisma.
wife in Dragon Age.
Here's the thing. I do think that there is a Venn diagram of millennial people who had a crush on Claudia Black who now have a crush on Rhea Ripley in WWE. I am in that Venn diagram. I'm not ashamed to admit it.
I have seen Amanda tapping because her character from Stargate showed up in Stargate Atlantis, which I have seen all of. And that
Stargate
is
Atlantis
why
was
tried
how
to-
I discovered Jason Momoa.
Yeah, same. Jason Momoa as Ronan, and yeah.
So, I am going to link in the chat to a page from the So You Want to Watch Figure Skating website that is an overview of the Grand Prix series, most of which are over now. They don't yet have their streaming and broadcast info guide for the Grand Prix final because we've still got one more week of these. Our final Grand Prix this year, Rhea, is Finland. So Finlandia Trophy will be the last deciding event for who makes the Grand Prix final.
Oh, I might be able. Let's see. I might be able to go and watch that if tickets have not already sold out. There usually is some kind of like back alley.
They won't sell out. Probably the ISU never markets these.
Finland is actually pretty good on like figure skating. It's like really popular here. Like in terms of like
and
a
you've
sport that
hosted
people
a lot
watch.
of international events recently, especially like since Russia stopped hosting events because they got kicked out.
Yeah.
Finland, so like the Finland Grand Prix is the one that used to be Russian, and now you get Russia's Grand Prix, event. But yeah, that's going to be in Helsinki. November 21st to 23rd next weekend. If you want to go, I will be probably watching most of it live, and we should text about the whole thing.
Let's see what happens. Next weekend? That's fast.
Well, yeah, and then the Grand Prix final is December 4th through 7th in Nagoya, Japan. So this website that I'm linking to will, when it's coming up, have a streaming guide for like where to watch, and where, like in the US, when NBC will be broadcasting it and stuff. But yeah, the Grand Prix final is like sort of the culmination of the early season. You get the top 6 skaters from the Grand Prix events that have been hosted over a course of various weeks in each discipline make it to the final. So it's not that many skaters. And, it's not everyone who's going to be in contention at the Olympics, because like there are skaters who've withdrawn from their Grand Prix assignments because they're injured and they're trying to get better before the Olympics and stuff like that. But like, it's a good sort of intro to what's happening this season if you haven't been paying attention thus far. So that is like the one, if you're like an every 4 years figure skating viewer for the Olympics only, and you want to tune into something before the Olympics, the Grand Prix final is what I would recommend.
Frankenstein?
Yes, now you may discuss Frankenstein.
I can go. I'm not going to discuss Frankenstein, and mine is super.
Go ahead, Di. Go ahead.
Yeah, so mine has mostly been sports. So women's soccer is in the playoffs right now for the U.S. League, and my team is in the finals again. Go Washington Spirit. I'm very excited. It was a weird season because last season it was like this big announcement that they had hired the coach from FC Barcelona. Yona, he was like, it was going to be a big deal. Like, he had won the Champions League few times. Like, Barcelona was like the super team in the Spanish league, but he wanted to finish his contract, and so he had an interim coach, Adrian Gonzalez, until like the summer break when Yona took over, and they went to the finals. They had some unfortunate timing with some injuries, and they lost to Orlando. So this season, Yona coaches half the season and then is like, surprise, I'm going back to Europe. I'm going back to Lyon. I'm going to coach Lyon, which is owned by the same person as the Washington Spirit. And the very unkind part of me is like, you didn't like losing, because the US League has more parity, and there is a good chance like the worst team can beat one of the best teams in the US than it is in most of Europe. So that's my very uncharitable thought. It could also be that he wanted to be closer to his family, which fair enough. But anyway, so Adrian took over as full-time coach, and there was, again, some unfortunate injuries. Two of our two of our really good players were like, surprised, we're pregnant.
Oh wow!
So
isn't it dangerous?
We were down Ashley Hatch and Casey Kruger, but then we signed some new players and we made it to the finals. They beat Portland 2-0. Oh, and the other thing is both last year and the game last week, both games went to extra time, so it was tied at the end of 90 minutes. They had to do 30 extra minutes, and then for 2 out of 3 of the games, they had to go to penalty kicks because the Spirit loved drama more than anything else. And so everyone going into this game was like, please, for the love of God, finish it in 90 minutes, and they did. It was good. So we'll find out later today who the other team is. It's either going to be Orlando or Gotham, which is like the New York, New Jersey team.
Wait, Gotham is a real thing?
Well, that's what, like, a nickname for New York City. And so the team named itself Gotham.
Wait, so is Gotham in DC universe an actual town that's based on an actual thing? And
so Gotham is its own town. Like, you have both New York City and Gotham, but Gotham is like seedier.
Batman takes place in New York?
No, I think technically Gotham is in New Jersey in DC Comics.
Batman takes place in New Jersey?
I always just thought that it was another name for New York.
I am not familiar with any of the DC comics, and I just always assumed that they took place in New York because it's called Gotham.
Marvel, pretty much everything takes place in New York in Marvel Comics. In DC Comics, you're more likely to have fake cities. So you have Gotham, you have Blue Haven, you have Metropolis, you have Gateway City.
Metropolis is a
city. You have Central City.
Wait. Is Metropolis also based on an actual city? It's an actual city somewhere. I've always thought that DC... This is why you know I'm not an American, but like I always thought that DC used fake names for fake towns. Like Gotham was a fake town.
I mean, it is a fake town, but it's like inspired by the seedier parts of New York. And Metropolis is more of like the shiny, brighter parts of New York.
Like the Manhattan?
Kind of, but New York is its own thing in DC Comics. You still have New York City.
So they are fake towns, but not really.
They are fake towns, but Gotham is, in our world, a real nickname for New York City.
Oh my god, I never knew this.
I
feel like my mind has blown a little bit.
Did Gotham as the nickname for New York City come first? And that's why they used it.
I don't know. I
See, that's the thing. Batman and like DC Comics has been around for a long time, like from the 30s, I think.
Yep.
But where
so that's soccer. Final is next weekend. I'm both nervous and excited. And then the other thing that I watched is over the weekend, I think it's still up, Amazon Prime released on YouTube the first episode of the Mighty Nine animated series. And so this is based off of their Critical Role's second campaign, which is when I started watching. And so the Mighty Nine for me is like my campaign. I love the characters. I love the story, and it's very like found family, like people become a family becomes a home type of thing. And they're adapting the series, and they've been repeatedly warning that there's going to be a lot of changes, which makes sense because I love the Mighty Nine, but the characters were allergic to plot hooks. Like Matthew Mercer as the DM would be like, here is a plot hook, and the players would be like, we're going over there instead. So it's like very meandering in a way that none of the other campaigns are. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how they adapt it. I really liked the first episode. It really centered, so there's a number of characters, but the first episode centered on 3. My favorite character, Beauregard, she is an asshole monk. She's like smart, but also really likes to punch things. Caleb Widogast, who is our stinky sad wizard man, and Not, who is an alcoholic little goblin girl. And
As one does.
I enjoyed the first episode. It was really interesting seeing how they adapted it, and the voice cast that they have is stacked. They have Lucy Liu. They have Ming-Na Wen. They have Anika Noni Rose.
Whoa!
The woman who voiced Moana. Jonathan Frakes shows up.
Jonathan Frakes!
Wow.
Well, to be fair, Jonathan Frakes does a lot of voice work. If you have not watched Gargoyles, Jonathan Frakes is the best villain.
I have
that.
never watched any of Gargoyles.
Gargoyles is so fantastic. I am so annoyed that you can almost not find it anywhere. I've been trying to find like DVD sets. You can't find any.
Yeah.
Like it's basically like you kind of need to go to a Caribbean cruise to get the episode.
Anyway, oh, and apparently there's a secret Disney princess in the voice cast that they haven't officially announced.
What?
Yeah, 4 Disney princesses. But yeah, it's Mark Strong is the villain.
Mark Strong as well.
Of course.
Of course.
His character is like awful. I cannot wait for him to get his comeuppance. But anyway, yeah, so the series, I think the first 2 or 3 episodes are dropping on either Wednesday on Prime. So I'm really excited. I need to go back and catch up with The Legend of Vox Machina. My problem is I don't really like Sam's character in The Legends of Vox Machina, so I don't necessarily. It's hard. Yeah, and then the only other thing is I've been listening to podcasts and I keep debating. So I don't know if you guys remember the NXIVM case with like the cult and the.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
I have watched several documentaries about this.
One podcast that I listen to, CBC Uncover, they do different seasons and they focus on a different topic. And their first ever season was about the NXIVM case because the sunshine. The journalist was childhood friends with Sarah Edmondson, and so it was like one of the first long pieces on NXIVM. I think it came out before Keith Raniere got arrested.
What?
But their new season is centered on Allison Mack.
Who was an actress in Smallville.
Yeah.
And I'm debating whether or not I want to listen to it because I trust the CBC, but I also don't know how I feel about her being platformed because
wait, is she participating in it? Ooh.
That's my feeling. It's like I do believe in restorative justice and everyone deserves a chance to like make like
yeah, but she
right-
was trafficking people.
that's the thing is like yeah.
No, ew.
Anyway, so that is my media consumption. I will turn it over to you guys for Frankenstein and other
Frankenstein. Okay, so I watched Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein last weekend, and it is great. It was fantastic. Okay, so first of all, I need to gush about something that many people might take for granted. But I have grown up in time of the Westworlds and the Game of Throneses, who think that the proper way to shoot a moody, dark scene is to literally put the camera in a bin bag and hope for the best, and then you're just squinting to try to see any semblance of detail on a scene that is supposed to take place at night. Whereas in Frankenstein, you actually could infer that the scene is taking place at night, but because it was lit to perfection, you can actually still make out all of the details of what is happening, and you don't have to wonder.
Amazing what having a director who like loves cinema does for someone.
Yeah.
Imagine having a director who is not a hack, and also a screenwriter who is not a hack. It does marvels.
And in general, it was very colorful. Like
it was very colorful.
The
like
costuming, the greens, the reds, like
the color theory enthusiasts out there will and this is why I'm looking forward to finding out people who will delve deeper into the actual like scene setting, because like for example, when I watched Sinners earlier this year, I watched a lot of people who were actively making scene by scene analysis of specifically the lighting that they used in Sinners to set the scenes, and I'm waiting for similar content on Frankenstein, because it was perfection in terms of like having a very gothic and haunting and dark atmosphere while also being really colorful. And I actually think that they were very heavily influenced by pre-Raphaelite and romanticism time period like paintings. Like there are several scenes where the sunsets especially are like filmed in a way that reminds me of a lot of like scenic paintings from like the mid 1850s essentially.
That wouldn't
onwards.
surprise me given how much Del Toro talks about like using like having art itself being influence on his work.
Yeah. And I just today found out that Mia Goth, who plays Elizabeth in Frankenstein, Elizabeth being the character who Victor Frankenstein develops romantic obsession over. I would consider him to be a little bit limerent on Elizabeth. These feelings are not reciprocated. Also, in terms of adaptation, I would like to personally thank Del Toro for not falling into the trap of making Elizabeth an actual love interest to Victor Frankenstein.
Although,
Thank you.
That's like a deliberate decision, because it turns out I misremembered this in the book. She is.
Oh, is she? Because I remember that in the book that she isn't.
Interest. If I remember correctly, they're like engaged, and his younger brother William is a child in the book.
Huh.
So they did change.
Interesting.
That.
I will need to reread Frankenstein again. This gives me a perfect excuse to do that, because I completely remember that she was not a love interest of Victor's in that sense, or like in the traditional sense.
Mm-hmm. I really liked that.
But I like that decision though.
Yes, I think it worked out. I also really liked that he chose to adapt the portion of the book which is where the creature like learns to read from the blind guy and the little girl and stuff. I don't know if that's ever been adapted before, but I liked it.
I like personally. I this is in reference to the 1990s adaptation with Robert De Niro, which like personally, because I had completely misremembered what happens in the book in terms of the Elizabeth Victor dynamic, but and it actually turns out that the Frankenstein adaptation, which I specifically hate for this particular part in the story, was more correct in its approach. But I absolutely detest the Robert De Niro adaptation, where Elizabeth becomes a kind of a rag doll between Victor and the creature. Because Victor tries to resurrect her, and they have a scuffle, and like things happen, and she gets like destroyed. Like she wakes up, and Victor tries to resurrect her for himself, and then the creature tries to basically kidnap her. And I have always hated that movie for that specific thing. But like it's interesting how the mind plays tricks on you like this, because I completely misremembered. I just liked this adaptation decision from Del Toro in Del Toro's version. I was just like, oh, this is so refreshing, that I just immediately went into full glaze of like, surely this was how it was in the novel. But we did remember the creature was vegetarian.
Yes. Yes. He's
He tears-
vegetarian, and he is actually a real sweetie. So
I am
Also-
neglecting my duties at highlighting comments that come in. I forget that that's a host job.
I also need to say, like, so I was saying that Mia Goth plays Elizabeth, but she also has a double role, which I only found out about today, and I have watched the movie, and I need to watch it again apparently. Mia Goth plays Victor Frankenstein's mother as well in the movie, so she has a very small role in the beginning. So it's kind of like this layering of Victor having very severe mommy issues that then get projected onto Elizabeth, but then also the daddy issues, and also the Frankenstein father is played by Charles Dance, going full ham and like reenacting all the Tywin Lannisterisms that made him very popular. So I liked Frankenstein. Frankenstein was great. I need to rewatch it. It was so nice. Fair warning, there are a number of scenes that are really brutal, where like especially when the creature is being assembled, that I got squeamish, and I don't tend to think of myself as being very. I don't tend to like really balk at gore, but when he was pushing the like kneecap into the cavity, like I was just like, yeah, this is
there's also like,
giving me the ick.
there's some pretty violent, bloody gore in it that kind of made me go like, okay, I don't know if I needed to see that.
Yeah. And also, like, while I will say that the CGI wolves were a little bit goofy, like the CGI animals, it's like in themselves are a little bit like B-movie type. Like they don't look like super realistic, but at the same time, it also kind of makes me happy, because then it's like, well, now you know that they're not real. They did not hurt real animals. Which I obviously knew that they didn't, but it's just like when a wolf is being ripped in two, it just makes you feel better that it was not a real wolf that was being done to. Yes. Also, Oscar Isaac once again is in full nude in this movie at parts. So those of you who watched Dune and marveled at the prone naked body of Leto in that one scene with Stellan Skarsgård, you're welcome. there is similar scenery in this movie. In fact, I think he gets his best ideas while naked.
I mean, sometimes it do be like that.
Yeah. It's like a full Archimedes moment.
This reminds me that I recently started season 2 of Foundation, and the first episode of season 2 of Foundation, the opening scene is Lee Pace playing Brother Day, sleeping with somebody he should not, and then having a full-on action sequence completely in the nude.
You got to the naked scene!
And I was like, okay, I thought the walk in the desert thing where he ends up naked in the pool in the cave at the end was like that was what you were referring to.
No. This is the naked thing
on the completely butt naked fight. I was like, we found some interesting ways to shoot that to show that he is completely naked,
yes,
without showing any of the
any explicit details. But I did say that when you get to the naked thing in Foundation, you will know that it is the naked thing.
Yeah, it is the naked thing. Unfortunately, I wish that was just the thing that I remembered, but he is getting sexy with an inappropriate person. It was my whole takeaway from that episode, and I was just like, I did not need to know that.
To be fair, I do think the showrunners may want you to be for that to be the takeaway.
Oh, I'm sure
rather than the naked thing.
It's gonna be a theme. I'm sure it's building up to something, but anyway.
But Lee Pace can get it. Like clearly whoever is running that show has been like, okay, we got Lee Pace to do the thing. So we will use every opportunity to just let the camera caress him from every angle.
He seems to be enjoying himself so much, walking around in his half-opened robes all the time. Like, he's having the time of his life.
It's the same thing as when he was Thranduil. He's just like completely owning the entire set and just swishing his elven robes.
Yes.
In every which place. And even though the Hobbit movies are not great movies, I do enjoy Lee Pace as Thranduil immensely. Speaking of Lee Pace, I want to see the Running Man movie, and I specifically want to see it for Lee Pace and Coleman Domingo. Like I have no game, like I have no horse in this race. I am not interested in Running Man in any other capacity, but I just want to see it because Lee Pace and Coleman Domingo are in it. Just two people oozing sex appeal.
Yeah.
But yeah, Frankenstein was excellent. It actually made me. I am waiting for my reservation of Crimson Peak to come into the library because I have never seen Crimson Peak.
Crimson Peak is like peak gothic. It's like
I've never seen it, so I will be watching it once I have the physical thing in my hands. Luckily, my library has the Blu-ray.
I have it. Like I just got it from the library, and I need to know how scary it might actually be, so I know what time of day to watch it.
It's not. I mean, it's been about a decade since I've seen it, but it's not scary. Like it's gothic.
It's moody. Probably.
Yeah, it's moody. It explores some dark themes, but it's not a horror movie.
Okay. So not like jump scares and stuff.
Not that I remember, but again, it's been almost a decade.
Okay. Well, I will plan on watching it in the middle of the day on the weekend, though.
But it has, like, if you liked the costumes in Frankenstein, the costume designer, I think, did Crimson Peak as well. And there's, like, some really beautiful costumes. And also you see Tom Hiddleston's
I have
butt.
seen.
Yeah.
I have seen the, like, photos of, like, Crimson Peak costuming, and it's really... Crimson Peak has Tom Hiddleston in it, right?
Yeah, you see his butt at one point.
I'm not sure I want to see Tom Hiddleston's butt. I'm not sure that's something I've ever had a desire to look at.
Is Mia Wasikowska is
Yeah.
in that? Okay.
Yeah, she's the lead.
Interesting. Well, for
Has
next time.
Has Mia Wasikowska been in other Del Toro projects? Who played Nuala in Hellboy 2?
Not her. I'm gonna look it up.
But I did because like I was thinking about, like, while I was watching Frankenstein, of all of the other movies by Del Toro and other people, and I was thinking about the monster fuckery of it all, which then brought me to The Shape of Water, and how clearly Del Toro made Hellboy 2 and had Abe Sapien have a romantic interest in someone in that movie, and then proceeded to make an entire fish boy falls in love with someone and has a full shenanigan with that person into a main component of a project. So that was fun. Like I like maybe Shape of Water is Del Toro's Hellboy fan fiction with the serial numbers filed off. Maybe that was the trendsetter and not Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood.
Yeah.
If that had been the trendsetter, we would be getting better fanfic.
Yeah.
We would be
it's
we
Anna
would be we
Walton.
would be getting monster romances.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we are. It's just I don't know how much of it's good.
Yeah, Rhea.
Not a lot.
The actress is Anna Walton.
Oh, okay.
We have a little over 10 minutes left. Rhea and Rachel, do either of you have other media you want to discuss?
Okay. So I have been watching this K-drama called Beyond the Bar, which is about lawyers. So it is about this law firm, and the main plot. So it's basically kind of like a Monster of the Week, in a sense that it's like a new law, like a legal case for every episode, and then there's also this ongoing, like the main plot, like the main overarching plot of the series is this like organizational restructuring that the law firm is going through, and how they try to oust out all of the old fogies who have basically and all the nepotism babies who are like in the company, and trying to build a more just and merit-based system, which is once again thematically critiquing capitalism, cronyism, and like these hereditary organizational structures, where basically if your father founds a company and you're his heir, then you will automatically get a CEO or a COO position in said company. Like it's anyway. It's 12 episodes, so it's a pretty short series. I'm currently in episode 10, and I have conflicted thoughts about this series, because it clearly tries to portray stuff in a way that it's like critiquing the conservative nature of Korean society, while at the same time actively also perpetuating said conservative ideals of Korean society. So the main character is like this genius lawyer, like a new lawyer, and she's starting at this company, and her like twin is essentially hard of hearing, and she was adopted out of the family to like relatives, because like the main character's parents were basically like, we can't the main character's father is a judge and her mother is like this law professor, so they have this prestigious image they want to keep, and they can't have a disabled kid in the family because of this. And then so it tries to critique this, like it says that this is a bad thing, which it is ableist, it is like increasingly gross, but at the same time, it sort of frames it as a kind of like, well, you know, it was the right thing to do. Like you can't critique it while at the same time kind of like being, but yeah, I understand the parents. Like what were these rich parents gonna do? Like, of course they had to give the baby away. Like it's much better for disabled people to be among other disabled people. Like, that's kind of the end thesis there. And I'm like looking at that series and being like, you're not serious. Like, I can't. But there was this particular scene in this series where the main character is out on a date with her boyfriend, whom she luckily breaks up with. Not for the reasons I thought she was gonna break up with him, by the way. So this boyfriend goes on a tirade that he wants to marry her because of her, because she's so smart and her family is so prestigious and she has the right genes to pass on for future offspring because she's a lawyer and her parents gave her these genes. And I'm there going like, ugh. Like,
that's very
very
Sydney
eugenicist
Sweeney
of
American Eagle Jeans commercial ad.
Yes. And I'm just watching that scene, and every time the man opens his mouth, I'm just like, ugh, like just like throwing up in my mouth a bit. And then the way the scene plays out is that she comes out with the explanation that, oh, by the way, you know this image of my family, but actually you don't know that I actually have like a disabled sibling and it's hereditary and there's like people in my family. And she gives it out as an explanation to give him a kind of opt out of marrying her, while at the same time expecting that, okay, he loves me enough that like he will opt in. And then she's shocked when he doesn't. And I'm like I feel like it would have been like, you didn't even have to bring the disabled sibling into this. You could have just been like, no, that's actually a very gross mindset to have. I'm gonna break up with you just because you have that mindset. I think it would have been a stronger message, let's say, than kind of trying to downplay it like, well, you know, I'm like, just so you know, just so you know, here's the thing. And then like his inability to accept her disabled sibling is the thing that's bad, not the overall eugenicist ideals that he upholds. If you like, I was just like, ugh. But it runs into a few of this. There's also some pro-natalist attitudes in this, because like the main male character he kind of like guilt trips his ex into like his ex-wife did not want to have children, but then when they divorced, she got pregnant with the other man, and it's kind of like this guilt tripping of like, well, women change their minds all the time, and why couldn't she have a baby with me? And I'm here like, oh my god. And I'm still watching it though. But it's like some of these things I'm just like, why?
You watch it so that you can tell us about it and we can all groan together.
Yeah, there has been a lot of groaning and yeah, I've been vomiting in my mouth just a little bit every single time some of this stuff comes
Go
up.
rewatch Frankenstein to cleanse the palate.
Yeah, in Frankenstein, I will throw up in my mouth on completely unrelated topics because of the body reconstructing scenes.
Rachel, do you have other media to discuss?
Nope, I mentioned Foundation, and that's pretty much it. So, or I am still watching Slow Horses, which I think I talked about last time. I'm on to a new season. This is the
Gary Oldman.
This is the the show about the rejects from the MI5. MI5, yeah. led by Gary Oldman being absolutely disgusting and vile and having the time of his life, being gross.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, I should say also that I have played Hades 2 and I just recently got to Prometheus, and Prometheus completely wiped the floor with me. I would have beaten his ass, but then I don't know how to count, and the Simon Says portion of that fight, I completely miscounted where he was gonna strike, and then I ended up taking all of the hits in that sequence, and then he kicked me in the face and I died. But it was so close. I was this close to beating him.
Wow. Oh. We're gonna have to wrap up because the dog really wants to go outside.
And I need to go to bed.
And I need to eat.
If everyone, we want to go through, say, where we can find you, and if there's something you are looking forward to in December, Rhea?
In December, I am looking forward to seeing one of my favorite bands, which is Bad Omens. I have tickets to see them in their Europe tour, so I will be traveling, and I hope they will play their new songs, which they probably will, and then I will have an emotional time of it while they are serenading me about breakups and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Do you feel love?
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't.
And while I am in the audience, I don't feel it either.
Rachel?
What am I looking forward to? I'm looking forward to holiday vacations and actually getting some reading done. If there's anything specific coming out in the end of November, early December, I don't know.
Di?
I'm looking forward to Claire North's Slow Gods. It's coming out, I think, on Tuesday. And I have friends who really love her mythology retelling, The Song of Penelope, and I remember enjoying The 15 Lives of Henry August when I read it like a decade ago.
I read that book. I don't remember anything about it.
I do vaguely remember it, but I remember liking it. So I'm looking forward to that. And then I'm looking forward to going down to California and eating delicious Mexican food and seeing my family. Yeah.
And for me, this is my channel. Hopefully there will be more videos here soon. I have videos planned. I just haven't been filming them. And I have just recently learned that apparently there is a movie adaptation of the Isabel Greenberg graphic novel, 100 Nights of Hero, that is coming out next month. And given that that was like a book that I adored when it came out.
I adored that too.
Extremely, like, both excited and nervous. I know nothing about like who's involved in this project or.
Is it an animation?
No, it's a live action movie, and it's coming out. It's getting an American release on December 5th. I don't know about any other countries.
The hell? A live action? Jeez.
Yeah. And so I will be going to see it, and I will be heartbroken if it's bad.
Do tell me all about it, because I want to know if it's something that I should see.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, I think that wraps up our live stream. Thank you everyone for joining us. It's been so much fun. Whose channel are we on for December?
Me.
We're Di's channel. This time I remember.
Happy jolly holidays. I hope everyone is staying warm if you're in a place where it is cold.
Hope so.
Bye for now.
Bye bye.